Hey guys, this is Bronson with Speculation About Nonsense podcast. Before we start this episode, I just wanted to give a brief message addressing the assassination attempt on Donald Trump. It was an absolutely horrific, shocking event that we just learned about moments after wrapping our episode because we filmed these a week ahead of time, and we were dismayed, to say the least. This is an absolutely horrific event. Violence should play no part in our politics, regardless of who you want to vote for. This is never the answer. And, you know, we feel so sorry for the people who were affected by this. This was an absolutely terrible, terrible thing. And we just want to say here at the podcast, we say a lot of silly things. We may discuss politics, but violence is never the answer. So with that being said, thank you for listening and enjoy the episode.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the latest episode of Speculation About Nonsense. We have a new setup here. As you can see, we are in our apartment for once.
Our studio.
Our studio, yes. Because John, I think, just needed a break. And so we thought maybe it'd be easier to just move over here for a little bit.
You were speculating too hard.
We were speculating way too hard, too much nonsense, and too much craziness. But we're happy to be here. I am getting over a cold, and I wasn't sure if I was going to even be able to record a podcast today. So I called my lovely friend Ruju to come over and be my potential interpreter. Welcome to the podcast.
Oh, thank you. Happy to be here.
So what do you do, Ruju, now that we're meeting Ruju for the first time here on the podcast?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know her.
I don't know Ruju.
I don't know her.
She
just
wandered
randomly
in.
walked in and we're like, I guess we need to know you.
I'm like, I don't have a
cup
third
of sugar.
mic.
And they were like, well, can we exploit you first? And I said, that's only fair. So they stuck me in front of the camera.
Exactly. Yeah.
But, yeah.
We're going to exploit her after this. I'm just kidding. So,
that's
what do
what
you...
I get paid to do personally.
That's right. What do you do, Ruju?
I'm a bit of an actor and comedian until I find the next paid gig.
Not that long ago, we went and saw Ruju do a stand-up routine with like a class that you had. I think you were the only person there that was any good. Like,
thanks.
It was shocking. And it wasn't just you were good, you were great.
Oh, I
And
appreciate
you did
that.
not belong in that class.
It was like, holy shit, what is happening here? Were you there when we went to...
I was not there
You
for
were-
both times.
You were... Oh, you didn't go to her stand-up?
No, Ian
Oh,
recorded
that's right.
it. Ian recorded it and played
I
the whole
heard
thing.
you guys
right.
reenacted it when you came home for Bye.
Yeah, we
which
did a
I
little
would have
bit.
loved to see.
It was nowhere near as good.
So I would love to see you do my material.
I want to
was
try
great.
I
it.
think it would be a fresh new take.
It was good stuff. Yeah.
No,
Thank
but
you.
Ian recorded it and literally played the entire thing.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I'll paint the picture. It was like my third time ever doing stand-up. And so it's part of this showcase, and they stuck me last, so they called me the headliner or whatever. And I had friends from like 3 or 4 different friend groups come, and the person seating everyone sat everyone in the front row. And like when you're on stage, you can't see past the first row. So the only people I could see in this room of like 50 or 60 people were everyone that I knew just going,
Oh my God. That's
and that's
true.
all I could see. And I was like, they're either going to laugh or they're going to have to pretend to laugh because I can see them back.
We were 2 feet away from you.
Yeah.
We were right up at the front. It was such a
you could
small
have tripped
theater.
me literally.
I thought about it. I considered it. But then they brought the nachos, and I got more preoccupied with the nachos.
That's
So,
fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. We love. Shout out to the Hollywood Improv. Great nachos.
It was the Hollywood Improv. It was a genuine fucking
Yeah.
comedy club.
It was very sick.
It was really cool.
Check it off my bucket list.
Yeah.
We often talk way too deeply about the intricacies of different stand-up comedians and what we like about them and what we don't.
That's right. Yeah.
And it's
That's
great.
fun.
Yeah.
And Bai doesn't understand anything that we're talking about when we talk about comedy.
I understand. I just don't find it
Bai's
nearly...
like,
Here's the deal.
I'm my favorite comedian.
Here's what
I am so funny.
When I open my phone, first thing I see is Pornhub. The second thing I see is usually some video of a comedian talking. And for you look up how to knit a sweater of some kind.
Oh, no.
Knitting,
I see.
right? Yeah.
I see.
Literally, this is his fucking... Your Instagram is a suit. Not even a person wearing it.
No, I don't care about
It's
the person.
on
so
a mannequin.
fucking crazy. But you know what? You are the best dressed here.
Thank you.
You know.
Well, not today, but usually.
Who is... you're not today?
I like these pants.
Yeah.
They can't see it though.
See, I
but
didn't
it's
know
striped.
pants like that existed.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
so you got your flaws for sure. When
I
it
do.
Comes to fashion.
I do have
Wait,
my flaws.
this is actually really interesting.
What?
We should go to our Instagram Explore page. Mine is some behind the scenes photos from the new Marvel movie.
Mm-hmm.
A behind the scenes photo from The Boys.
Yeah.
A bunch of fashion shows.
A bunch of fashion shit.
a ridiculous amount of fashion shows.
Literally, the first thing I open
all
up is Tim
distracted.
Dillon. Is a Tim Dillon clip on Instagram.
Followed by Joe Biden.
I follow cats. Is that? Oh, that's Finn. That's Paris's cat. I follow animals. I usually get a lot of rabbits because
Finn has his-
rabbits are fun. But yeah, no, there's a lot of good stuff on here.
Wait, I'm sorry.
What?
I feel like Bai asked me a bunch of questions, but I'm not really getting the same affection from you.
I'm sorry.
Do you have like a question for me, or like what am I doing on
Oh,
this date? you
yeah.
know?
Okay, let me think of one.
See, yeah, I get to know them, Bronson.
So Ruju, why are your pants messed up? What happened?
Yet again, another.
Did you
could
get
tell
into a
he's-
fight with a bear?
This is his way of like secretly showing he's interested in fashion.
Yeah.
It's like this like weird.
Is that
way
what it
of-
is? I thought I
Yeah.
was concerned for your safety. It looks like your legs have recovered beautifully, but the
Thank
pants
you.
didn't survive.
Thank you, God. If I had a penny every time someone told me that my legs recovered beautifully.
I have a
But,
change.
You
Jack.
only have two, but it's weird.
It's weird that I have two.
Mm-hmm.
Both from Bronson.
Both from Boston.
Like, Bronson, why do you keep telling me my legs are recovered? It doesn't even
Why
make
do you
sense.
keep showing them off, Ruju? Jesus.
Oh
Why do you
my
keep
God.
looking?
Stop looking at my legs.
Sorry, God damn. So what happened to the
Jesus.
pants?
Well,
Man.
actually, what happened was they said, "Would you rather be in the woods with a bear or a man?" And she picked the bear.
I picked the bear.
and she still survived.
But it was still a man. I thought you were gonna say
It was
like
a
gay
man
bear.
in that he wanted to see my legs.
Oh,
But
yeah.
it was, in fact, a
bear.
mammal bear.
Oh damn!
So bear ripped the clothing off my knees.
You should have met Cocaine Bear. That's a girl bear.
Oh.
You know.
That was
Really?
a really
Yeah.
I haven't seen the movie. I
That's
didn't
a
know it was a
fun
girl
movie.
bear.
It was
It's a
really
real.
fun.
She's a feminist icon.
Girls just wanna have fun.
Cocaine
Yes.
Bear.
Cocaine
She
bear.
had a lot of fun, I will say.
Good.
She killed a lot of fucking people.
in a
Who
really
doesn't?
hilarious
A
way.
And-
weird bender night? Come on.
Yeah. And I
There's a
know that
couple
this movie's
casualties.
still relevant now, so you guys should, if you haven't yet, you should watch the true girl movie of 2023. Was it 2023 or 2022?
2022.
Was it 2022?
Yeah, it was that long ago.
Oh my God.
Cocaine Bear walked so Barbie could run.
Yes.
That's right. Now, if we could do a collab of Barbie Bear, potentially.
Barbie Bear!
Do a
Barbie
Care Bear
Or-
/ Barbie.
Hear me out.
Are they both Mattel?
Cocaine Barbie.
Cocaine
Oh!
Barbie. Isn't that just like the Harley Quinn movies, basically?
Oh no, it was 2023, but it was in February 2023.
That's right. So it is still the year of Barbenheimer.
Yeah. Everyone kept talking about Barbenheimer, but
God, that was a year ago. Can you believe it? It's been a year since
Time is
that.
flying.
yeah.
Will there ever be another mashup as beautiful as Barbenheimer?
Well, it was.
They're certainly gonna try.
Yeah, they're trying. They're trying to make Wicked and
I feel like
what's the other movie that's supposed to come out at the end of this year?
Moana, they changed Moana's date because they said it was going to be like Wicked Moan or something like that.
Oh.
No. It
Yeah.
wasn't. It's a guy movie. Oh, Gladiator. It's supposed to be Wicked and Gladiator opening on the same day.
Oh, is that what it was?
That's
Because
what
they
they're
were
trying to
talking about how because Moana and Wicked are probably similar demographics.
Yeah.
Um,
Although I am
at least
saying,
Moana's probably younger oriented than Wicked.
well, more families.
Either way,
though.
Wicked Moan cannot.
Yeah, no, Wicked Moan sounds
not work
terrible.
for
It
either
sounds
demographic.
like a Boston fucking pot variation. I think the best mashup we have in store is the presidential election.
Yes.
And that is Joe Biden and Donald Trump, the two most fascinating people of our time. I mean, it's truly astounding whenever you look back at how bad this is. Biden
There's not
literally
a single human being on earth I can think of.
You're saying
Biden
it's
had a
cast perfectly.
It's cast perfect.
He had a video where he's like, somebody asked, do you think that there's anybody else that could run on your behalf or run for the Democrats and beat Trump? And he goes, probably about 50 of them. He said that in a fucking video. Man, why are you still running? I just don't understand. Like,
the ego and the audacity of straight white men.
is that what it is?
Yes.
Is that all it is?
That's all it is.
Because
It
like
somehow increases as you get older. Like
Yeah.
after you retire, the confidence goes back up again.
Yeah.
You should see my grandparents.
yeah,
They could run for president.
they're like children. Children are also
It's like-
they gain
Yes.
confidence.
It's a
in like
U-curve.
your early 20s it spikes, and then in your mid to late 20s it dips because you're like, oh, what am I doing in my life? And then I think around 35 it dips back up all the way around to like 45, where it goes back down because you have a midlife crisis, and then it just like from there just shoots all the way up until you die.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never
believe
felt
with most of
confident.
that.
I don't think.
That's a you problem, Bronson.
I know. Here's what I want to say. I think there's a lot of people that aren't sure about who they're going to vote for in this election because it seems like we're between a rock and a hard place
I know who I'm
with
voting
these two
for.
guys. And what I will say, we're fine. Am I right? We're fine right now, and we're run by this guy that doesn't know how to finish sentences, and we're still here. You know?
It's because
We're still alive.
The only thing the president
your
has to
viewers
do,
tend to be
really-
the ones that are.
Huh?
Your viewers tend to be the ones that are alive. You are right.
No, but I'm just saying. I don't know, because every day that Trump was president, I always just I think most people in this country had some kind of anxiety of what the fuck did he do now?
Yeah.
You know, of just
Sort of
the
like we're all parenting him together.
insane just impulsivity, the complete disconnect from reality. Now Biden has a disconnect from reality in a different way. His is just he is too old to process reality, whereas Trump willfully ignores it. And so if I can just reiterate, if we're not sure about who to vote for in this election, we're still here, and Biden's currently the president. So maybe we just go with that, you know?
But also,
Because-
here's the thing.
What?
About Joe Biden is not that bad.
He's-
The president doesn't really have to do that much. They just need to pick a direction and pick people to
Who are better than them.
Who are better than that to do their job.
Right.
And credit where credit is due.
Yeah.
Joe Biden has competent people running the government right now.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I'm pretty sure if Trump becomes president again, the people who he will give power to are the people who wrote Project 2025. So
Yes. Now, Project 2025, if there's any other reason that I can convince you to not vote for Trump, it is Project 2025, and it is actually a genuinely fucking scary proposal that has been put forward by this company called the Heritage Foundation, basically outlining what would create an autocratic, completely right-wing government. They would replace all career politicians with Trump's supporters. I'm going to turn my phone off. I'm sorry, guys.
they will also
Government's calling you.
get rid of the Department of Education. They will change. I think it's up to 2,000 merit-based government jobs that are non-political into political appointments. So that way, basically gutting the government of anyone who's actually good at their job and filling them with Trump loyalists.
Sure.
So that way, if he wants to just stay in power,
He can.
he can.
They'll let him.
Yeah.
It feels very Stalin-esque,
Yes.
which I think is a little exciting on a hypothetical
I
standpoint.
know. It's like, oh my God, America, look at you, girl.
I'm like, you know,
flirting with fascism? Stop it.
but here's the thing.
No, seriously, stop it. I'm scared.
One of the things that they're going to do is they're going to ban pornography, which I think is a kind of a stretch for Trump because, you know, the whole Stormy Daniels situation, I can't imagine he saw the light since that's happened, that he's like, you
found
know what,
out.
I don't need this anymore. Are you kidding me? You're Trump. Like, nobody has consensual sex with that guy. Like, you just don't. But
But he's just so hot.
you think?
He's so hot.
Daddy T.
Daddy T.
Daddy
He has
Donald.
very low T, I imagine, Trump. He's got to take a lot of supplements. But,
Okay,
like,
so they're trying to accomplish all of this
Yes.
by 2025. You're
No,
saying
no, in 2025.
in
if Trump is
2025,
reelected.
right.
they will do all of this in 1 year.
I don't know what their
Yes,
timeline is.
there
Is that what it is? A year?
Yeah, one of the the thing with the getting rid of all those government jobs is like, I am not 100% sure, so don't quote me on this, but it's about the first 100 days when Trump is in office,
Sure.
the things he's going to try to do.
Okay.
So it makes sense with the replacing all the government jobs because he'd be already in the process of rehiring people.
Yeah.
And so Trump, to his credit, has gone on record to say he does not even know what Project 2025 is. He wholeheartedly disagrees with it. Do you know who wrote Project 2025? His staffers.
It was his staffers.
All the people he hired.
I
So-
think it's very clear he doesn't care about what's on the record and what's not.
No,
so
of course not.
The concept of the record is
Yeah.
really fuzzy for him.
One of the things that they're trying to get rid of all protections against like job discrimination based on sexual orientation or gender identity. So basically, unless you live in a more liberal area, you're kind of fucked in terms of your rights if you're not straight and white and probably male. Because they're also trying to get rid of abortion rights. And so
More so than they already have.
Yeah, for sure. Which, you know, not everybody wants to live like the Duggars. Not everybody wants to have 30 fucking kids that all go nuts whenever because they don't get any fucking parent, you know? Like, if you have that many siblings, how do you have any relationship with your parents? They're basically a factory at that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's insane.
The thing, though, that
Wholesale.
I think...
Wholesale. Is that what you said?
I think it's like with certain populations in America,
Mm-hmm.
like, and someone like me just can never understand their mentality is they want the government to baby them. They want the government to be mommy and daddy,
Mm-hmm.
to be big brother, telling them what to do, what's right and what's wrong.
Yeah.
And but they're the same people who will go and say liberty and freedom.
Right.
I'm like, but do you know liberty and freedom means you get to decide what you want to do.
Right.
So why are you trying to force large populations of the US to do what you want them to do?
Right.
Do you not understand the concept of freedom?
Or hypocrisy. Like it's like they're like, well, we're trying to, because the big thing with if you're Republican is talking about reducing the size of the government. This is not reducing the size of the government. It's making it full of your people.
Selective, yeah.
But
And it's invasive. It's making
Right.
the government more invasive to our personal lives.
Yeah. Like how sociopathic do you have to be to think that it's okay to violate all these rights of or even just the basic checks and balances of government so long as it's people who I agree with? Do you not understand how that could blow up in your face if we set the precedent that you can just install everyone that you want to run everything? There's going to be no balance in any way. Like it's such a disastrous scenario. That being said, we've talked about this.
We have.
If there was one proposal that they could add to the Project 2025 proposal that would make you forgive everything else,
Yes.
what would that be?
Wait, no, I got this. So I have three things.
I was just exhaling in anxiety. Please continue.
So three things. One, a free trip to Europe every year, but every other year because it could be expensive. But I have to come back. It makes sense. I have to pay my taxes.
What if they send you to Ukraine though?
Ooh, okay,
Isn't
so
that Europe?
Western
Wait,
Europe.
they pick where you go?
No. I get a free vacation.
They go somewhere cheap.
Western Europe. Let me add that caveat.
Yeah.
Western Europe.
Okay.
So like a trip to Paris, but like America is a fascist. So you just go you taste freedom for a little bit,
Okay.
and then you come back to
Okay.
oppression, because the French just like narrowly
like the modern 9 to
voted
5.
their, did not vote the far right government in. So good for them. Also, England or the UK also did not vote for their far right party. The Labour Party is now in charge. So good for them.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, Labour won.
Oh, is that the guy who's the current prime minister?
No, the current prime minister is the conservative government. They've been in
Oh, is he
power-
government?
Yeah,
Or is he
they've-
conservative, rather?
Yeah, they've been in
He's
power.
government.
He is government.
Is he the government?
Yeah.
I don't know how
They call
Britain
it
works.
His job is government.
His
He is government.
He is.
I do government. I am
I
government.
do government.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of yours is trip to Europe.
Yes.
You go to Europe.
Yes.
That's-
Enjoy freedom and then have to come back because taxes. Number two,
Would they let you move there though?
No, just visit.
That's how they keep you there. They keep you under their thumb.
Yeah. Two, I would like them to just like offer like a man.
Offer a man. Oh, okay, you pause. You tell me what you think that means, and then I'll say what I think, and then you can tell us.
Now,
If only the government could
They
offer a man, I'd be on board.
I would be concerned. All I just keep thinking of is slavery. No, but I'm just like
everyone gets a man.
Yeah, everyone gets a man.
You do what you want
kind of
with
man,
that
By? What kind of man are they giving us?
Hold on. Where are the men coming from? Also,
right. Just what does he look like? Even
Yeah.
No.
Unless you're speaking of man like a romantic partner,
Like
like
what I
the
mean.
government will give you a husband.
Yeah, no, because that's illegal now. Come on, Project 2025.
Right.
Right.
Right. Obviously.
No, what I
They
mean
can't-
is
Slavery. Fine.
exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
So if like
They're not gay.
if
No.
Trump was just like, hey, listen.
Imagine the dystopia of the only way you can have a husband is
As if
they're your slave. And then you're like, I'll do what I please. I'd like to fall in love and marry him.
yeah, that'd be cool. Isn't that happening in some places already?
Is it?
I don't know.
So what about you, Ruju? What can they
What would
say?
change it for me?
What is something they can add, or what are things they could add to Project 2025 that will get you to be like,
I mean, it seems like what is fading here is like the ability to say something negative about the government and have that opinion be valued.
Yeah.
Which is like just going to be eroded if you just keep having all these like people that you've planted in
Right.
your party. So I think there needs to be some way to make sure that like your negative opinions, and they will be negative if you are so controlled, most
Right.
likely, there is a way to express that. I really like sometimes like in the UK they have like they'll just showcase like political debates, but it's really just a bunch of people talking over each other and fighting and like really letting their opinions from the public known. So something like that, or like, you know, once a month you get to like
purge?
slap a member of the government.
What if they have like
Like,
a little community board that you
to
could
pie
just tack
someone.
on like little, like they have like a little cork board outside of the government's building, whatever. They
Yeah.
put the government in a building and you just have a little bulletin board and you can just, you could get, you know, those paper things where they leave the markers so you can draw
Yeah.
your picture on it or whatever. You can just write your complaint on there. Heart Ruju at the end.
Nice.
You know?
What if?
I don't want to just be a complaint.
We get a
because
purge.
The words aren't going to do anything. I want it to be in the behavior where I can hit them like once a month.
Yeah, that's true.
Like I don't even
That's
need to
cathartic.
say what's wrong because you won't care. But
I just get to like
accept
express
my
my
violence.
anger.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. What if we have a purge?
That's what I would want. I'll clarify. If everyone could just get, it's not really the purge, but actually my acting teacher brought this up, where he said the world would be a better place if people just had like 15 minutes a day where they could just go fucking apeshit.
Yeah.
Like not like killing people, obviously, because that would be such a bummer.
yeah.
But
Imagine
like,
trying to
just
get blood out of your
screaming,
clothes.
like
Ugh,
you know, throwing
annoying.
shit and causing a tantrum, a 15-minute daily tantrum.
Yeah.
2025.
That's what I call my daily affirmation.
Yeah.
This is my daily
You
affirmation.
fucking.
What if we have a hungry? What if they said, "We'll oppress you, but there's also a Hunger Games." But like, I get to pick who is in the Hunger Games. So like, all like the people who said mean things to me in high school, I would just throw
Wait,
them in the
okay.
Hunger Games.
Question though, how did you get this much control?
This
You
is what-
personally are getting written into 2025.
Yes. That's how that's what they would have to do to get me to agree with it. They'd be like, and Bainga will get to organize and pick tributes to be in an American style Hunger Games.
Wow. They
I mean,
said
the Hunger-
fascism, and Bai said, "Without me." Wait for
Bye.
me.
I mean, if we're gonna be in a fascist state, you want to be the ones with power. It's like
Yeah.
fascism is not
sure.
fun if you're the one being oppressed.
You're oppressing people alone?
I know, like let me take part in the oppression. That's more fun. Like
Here's all I want. To convince me to join Project 2025. I just want them to make the final season of the shows where they had to get rid of the main actor because they got canceled. Like, if you could just redo season 6 of House of Cards with Kevin Spacey, don't pay him. You don't have to pay him even, but just redo
make
it.
him do it.
Can you just get everybody together and just
redo the last 2 seasons of Game of Thrones. Oh my gosh, Trump,
do
do you want to win this election?
dude?
Remake the last 2 seasons of Game of Thrones.
His hair is
Make-
almost the Targaryen color, isn't it?
Yeah, listen, Trump,
Yeah,
that
he's gonna
needs
cast
to
himself in
go.
it. That's gonna be the problem.
Is he
Yeah.
Trump Targaryen?
Yeah, Trump Targaryen.
Yeah.
That's what the
Daenerys.
teen.
Daenerys Donald Targaryen.
Donald.
Donald
Donald.
Trumpgaryen.
Yeah.
Donald
father,
Trumpgarian.
instead of the mother of dragons, he's the father of flies.
He's the father
And
of...
it's actually
Breaker of rights.
it's actually the prequel to The Apprentice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
He's the father of money.
Yeah. No, the father of flies.
He's the
Father of
stepfather.
Breaker
of
of
money.
stepfather.
He's the stepfather of money.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Trump officially make that a stance. Come on, the last season.
Just
of Game of
redo the last season because I don't... Here's politics aside, and I don't... I think the people that got canceled, rightfully so, but... It made the ending suck, man. It really did. The ending to House of Cards fucking sucked. Get him in one episode. Kill the character off in one
On
episode.
the verge of tears. I'm
really passionate about House of Cards.
So there is a little bit of hope, though. Speaking of hope, so gay furries.
Oh my god. So
Make it make sense. Make it make sense, guys. Guys, my brain is breaking.
they
Gay furries.
they hacked
The
into Heritage
Foundation.
Foundation
Which
to
is the think tank
dox them
that-
basically.
The Heritage Foundation is the think
Oh yeah,
tank that
they created Project
created
2025.
2025.
So they hacked into them and released like 2 gigabytes of data, which if it's like text data is actually a pretty substantial amount. And they had this insane exchange with the head of the Heritage Foundation, or like one of the major heads of it. But basically they revealed that a lot of the authors of it are in fact directly tied to Trump. So whenever he tweeted, "Oh, I don't know anything about these people," that's complete bullshit. I mean, it
All
was,
cult leaders say stuff like that.
it was speculation at that time. Now it's pretty much demonstrated. It's like, and I'm like, okay, so these are not the saviors we asked for, but they're the saviors we've got. So thank you guys for doing that.
go
For
gay
hacking.
furries.
Yeah.
Listen, I gotta say, the furries,
Gay furries.
they are they
These were
disbanded, right?
hackers. Yeah, they disbanded. I
Yeah.
don't know why.
But I was telling you earlier, I feel like they're like Avatar, like the Avatar.
Yeah.
When the world needed them most, they disappeared.
Yeah.
But I believe we found a new Avatar.
Are you
You're
wait?
gonna be the new gay furry.
You're gonna be the new
Yeah.
gay. Do you know how to hack?
No.
I don't either.
He hacked my heart.
Damn.
Yeah. Am I a furry? No, but that one is easy. I could get a suit.
Yeah.
I'll just. It's like
There's
Aang.
easier ways to be a furry
Listen.
without getting so political. You
Listen.
can just say that's what you want to do.
No, but here's the thing.
Yeah.
But I'm like Aang. I am learning the
Uh-huh.
element of hacking. So like.
Yeah, it's the fifth
Well, I think he
element.
added it.
Yeah.
He was honing it.
I know how to work a computer.
Yeah.
Technically, I can turn it on and type.
To pivot here,
Yes.
we were talking about manifestos with the Project 2025. I think a manifesto is pretty much a good way to describe it. You have your own manifesto, Bai.
I have several.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about some of the more popular ones?
Yes. So I believe I believe in small government, and I believe they should get rid of gay marriage.
Why?
They should get rid of all marriage.
Okay.
Hot take. Hot take.
Yeah, because like, why should the government be involved if two people decide to live together and buy a house and have maybe a few babies? I agree with the
Isn't it
conservatives.
about like taxes and like?
Yeah.
But you get some benefits from being married if your spouse dies.
Yeah.
You
Sometimes,
could
Like, there's, like,
you could
life
just
insurance.
But listen,
sometimes you get like discounts
listen,
at shows.
listen. My
Buy 2 tickets.
manifesto is.
Yep.
My manifesto is. I agree with conservatives. Their only problem is they're not taking it far enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's get
course.
rid of gay marriage, but let's get rid of all marriage.
Okay.
Like, why stop at the gays? Everyone, the government should not tell you.
I think-
you can't leave someone. 2,
Why can't we have dog marriage? That should be the only marriage out there is dog marriage. Because it'd be fun to have your dog marry a dog down the street. Because
Yeah.
the dogs don't give a fuck
God.
about anything.
Yeah.
You know?
Two.
What would the punishments be for like adultery?
Oh, they would constantly cheat on each other.
exactly.
That would be the best part, though. Is
An
it's
open marriage.
right? Essentially, yeah.
Great.
Yeah,
open
no.
dog marriage. So 2, conservatives believe that
Bitches ain't loyal.
I want to
Am
go to that
right?
ceremony. Can I officiate? I really.
just 2 puppies get married.
Or can you get a third dog that is the officiate? You get some pissed off Like, guys, like, because you'd have to bring your whole extended family to this ceremony, and there'd be no doubt some dad from Missouri would be like, what the fuck is this shit? And it's like, I paid for this. It's still going to cost the same amount as a normal marriage because this is a real wedding, damn it. It's still 30 grand.
Owners are walking the dogs down the aisle.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and
Quite
you know
literally walking them.
the catering is not going to go easy on them because they're dogs. I know the quantity of food.
Dog food for all the guests.
They have to get all the special science diet kibble. You know, you have to get the special
dog wedding cake.
You have to have the shit for the cats that inevitably show up because they always feel like, oh, it's a dog thing. I must be, able to come too.
Sure.
So you got to have the cat stuff too. And honeymooning for dogs, that's its own magical thing.
Can you tell we live in LA?
I want to be a honeymoon planner for dog.
Oh my god.
I could plan the best trip. I could get to if you go to Disneyland, they have the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique. I bet they have one for dogs. Do you think they have that? We could create it. Disney, if you're listening, we could do the Bibbidi Bow Wow Boutique. Bow Wow Teak. Bibbidi Bobbidi Bow Wow Teak. And you could make very beautiful dog princesses. I think we were onto something there.
Yeah,
that's my manifesto.
I feel like that
no one should
already
marry
exists.
but dogs.
So, anyways,
they have that.
Yeah.
Can we go?
Do you know?
I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah,
dog wedding.
Yeah.
Is this a thing that's on Instagram I can follow?
I'm pretty sure this is LA.
I thought I learned everything about dog culture.
This is LA. My feet are just right there. Okay.
Yeah, I know. I noticed that the whole time.
Sorry. Well, you are welcome. Depending on who's watching this. They can't
Maybe
legally
it's an
sign a
arranged
contract.
marriage. Like if your owners get married, you have to get married.
Oh, I like that.
So,
fascism for the dogs.
Yeah, basically, arranged marriages for dogs. What do you think about that?
Well, all marriages for dogs would be arranged marriages
You think?
for dogs. How would they consent to the social norm of marriage?
You know how sometimes dogs, they just kind of have a chemistry. You know, some dogs fucking hate each other, and some dogs are best friends.
Have a chemistry.
No, but they do.
I think that's humans reading into.
Yeah, but how do you go from chemistry to
well,
marriage?
if they fuck, they're married.
I have chemistry with every fourth guy on the street. You know how many times I'd be divorced by now if that was the case?
Yeah.
Back to my manifesto. So let's just get rid of all marriages. Cool. 2, drugs should be legal, all of them.
Why?
Why not?
Yeah.
Drugs are bad for you.
I don't want the government to tell me.
When you limit them...
Well, it depends on the drug.
It's, you know that thing where, like, weed became legalized, so then less people do weed?
Okay, but take this, though. If you're... Because I think you're not alone in terms of a liberal person wanting to decriminalize pretty much most drugs.
I'm saying there has to be limits. Like, you don't want companies to get, like, competitive and come up with, like, the world's hardest drug.
Don't you think it's a little hypocritical to be like, we should just legalize all drugs because people are going to get them anyway, and at the same time say we need to be way more stringent on gun control?
That's no.
Because that's the kind of the right-wing argument is getting rid of gun control.
No.
People can get them anyway.
Here's my... Oh, I love this. Okay, so because, like, legalization is not the same thing as regulation. If we legalize all drugs, we should regulate it like we regulate alcohol.
Okay, you didn't say that.
Yeah, but but those are two different conversations.
How much heroin is okay?
That's what I'm saying. It's tough for the ones that are just, like, immediately really horrible for you.
Right.
But I think the instinct there is to want to legalize it or do something so that it's easier for people to access the resources to deal with it.
But
because
I also...
if all of it is, like, criminalized, then it's way harder to, like, start an organization or something that's going to, like, help these people with this thing that's illegal.
Yeah.
But also...
Or to give it to them in small
aren't there
doses
still,
or
like,
whatever.
organizations that help people with drug problems that don't arrest them? Like, if you're a heroin addict, like, they have needle exchanges so that you don't get HIV from sharing needles. You know what I mean?
But also
that shit is it gets corrupt so fast.
Really?
Like,
How so?
I've seen a lot of stuff about, like, rehabs where there's many stories of, like, they'll get drugs in the rehab anywhere. Like, people working there will do drugs with them and stuff.
Jesus.
And it's, like,
But also, it's the
really
idea
hard
that,
to
like,
trust people to, like, give you the care you need when you're in such a vulnerable position.
But also, it's the idea of, like, you would be getting rid of, like, one of the largest black markets out there.
The economy, man.
Yeah, the economy of, like, you would just, if it was legal
Yeah.
and you could regulate it, and I was a person that wanted to do drugs, would I rather just go to the store and buy them when I know it's regulated and good, and if something happens, they would be held accountable, or get it from a shady drug lord?
Yeah.
By the way, I saw this.
Why are you laughing?
Because you said they're going to get rid of one of the biggest black markets. My mind went Kmart. I'm like, what does this have to do with anything? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's where I get my drugs.
Yeah.
I go to Kmart.
You go to
Kmart.
Kmart.
There's a lot of
The
crazy
K.
shit that happens at the Kmart.
K stands for potassium.
Yeah.
Oh.
Not ketamine.
And okay,
Yeah.
I was gonna say ketamine
There
and
it
I stopped myself.
I saw what's that like YouTube channel that makes like all the crazy like mini documentaries about like crazy shit?
Vox?
Vox?
Yeah, it was like Vox or like Vox adjacent. Had
Or
story.
It starts with another Vice.
Vice. Vice is what I was thinking.
Yeah. What's the difference? I
They're
can never
different.
remember
I
the
think they're
difference.
just different.
Vice is more about crime, I think.
No, I
Criminal
think
stuff.
They're kind of
No?
yeah, I think they're just
they do all
different
their-
publications that do similar things.
Oh.
Yeah, they had this
Interesting.
one story that they followed about people who said that they were like heroin users at like a consistent basis.
Yeah.
So people who just did a little like get through the day or whatever. The way people would like smoke weed, but it's literally they'll like inject heroin or snort it or
Jesus.
something. Just like a little to just like get through the day. And
That's crazy.
They interviewed these people and
Just
they
to get
obviously
through the
like
day.
distorted their voices and like weren't
Yeah.
showing them and stuff. But it's crazy to hear the stories of like there's this woman in like Greece or Italy or something, and she was having this like dinner party watching the sunset with her friends, and like her and her husband were just like, we'll be back in a couple minutes, and they'll like go to the kitchen and she'll be like, well, like here's yours, here's mine, and they'll do it and then go back to their friends, and their friends are like, yeah, we know them, this is what they do. And it was like it was such a normal story and such normal lives, like people at the top of their game and like
Wow.
financial institutions and stuff, but they're like, just a little bit, I'll do it like once a day, and it doesn't get in the way of anything.
Yeah.
And so they're willing to keep up that addiction
Once a
or
day?
not see
What?
it as an
Once a
addiction.
day, though?
What job do they do?
They interviewed people that had very stable jobs.
Because that kind of sounds
It's
like they
crazy.
need to reevaluate if that job is even fully necessary. Because if you have people on heroin who are pulling
that's
it
how
off,
they fund it.
maybe
you know, like they-
maybe
Yeah, that's how they
AI
fund their lives.
maybe AI isn't such a bad thing after all.
Well, no, like, have you ever thought about like
was
high
just-
functioning people?
That's what
like,
it is.
I
It was
feel
about
like
high functioning heroin addicts.
Like, I feel like I am very like high functioning in lots of things. I'm not addicted to drugs. I don't do drugs. But
I thought that was
feel
just
like,
if you were autistic.
No, but I feel like if I'm high functioning, I could be. It means like you are an alcoholic.
It doesn't get in the way of
and
your
you are
alcohol
able
life.
to, and you're able to like manage
Keep
your
a job
addiction in a
and keep
way
relationships.
where you keep
Got it,
everything in your
okay.
life. So it could just be that these people are high functioning drug
but if
addicts.
they lose it, it would go berserk.
Yeah, but if they lose their job, then
Like their
Got
health
it.
would go. They
Yeah.
cannot deal with like what would happen.
So
if
they have a
just
very
went
kind of
cold turkey.
precarious.
think about
Setup,
the
yeah.
people
Yeah.
who get drunk on wine like almost every single night because it's wine o'clock.
What's your problem, man? Sometimes it is wine o'clock, okay?
Yeah,
And sometimes I like a little Sauv Blanc when I'm watching my shows.
What time
But,
is
like-
your wine o'clock?
It's whenever
1
the
o'clock.
wine is in my hand.
Great.
Yeah.
Every
So
o'clock.
I
It can
think
be wine o'clock right now if you
It
want.
could be. Yeah,
You want to get some wine o'clock going?
Yeah, let's go.
We
Let's
could
get
do it.
brunch.
Yeah.
It'll be dinner now, but
Saturday brunch.
Crazy.
but like
Drinking
yeah,
that
I think
little
they might
vanilla
just be
caramel.
high functioning people.
How is your is there wine in it?
I'm not telling.
Oh my
I'm
god.
not telling.
My tea is lovely. We were talking about tea. And I like British tea.
I like to seep my heroin.
Is that what it's in it?
Yeah, it's a little bitter, but is heroin bitter? I don't know. I'll let you know when I try it.
I thought it's injected. I don't know that you
There's a few
taste
ways.
it.
I mean, yeah.
Heroin, anytime I've seen it in a movie, I actually learned watching. So here's the thing that's fun about movies is you can learn about how drugs are used. Is they have
Yeah.
That's what's fun about movies.
that's
Movies.
one
All
fun
of them.
thing.
Documentaries.
is
Every single one.
I always
is real.
thought the cotton ball that they put in the spoon, if you're a heroin user, was part of the drug, like it was a chemical reaction. It's a filter.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that because they put the needle in the cotton ball
whenever they pull the drug into the needle.
So you don't get little like
Right.
things that go in your veins.
But it's probably not a perfect filter.
No.
I don't know that it's, I don't know that it's HIPAA regulated or whatever. Like,
See, if they were all legalized, you could
DIY
make
regulation.
I would say you might want to get a centrifuge or something to kind of like get all the granules down at the bottom before you put. But then
Yeah,
again,
if
how
there's
do
any
you
drug
put a
addicts
spoon?
listening,
You always use
come
a
here
spoon.
for the advice.
Yeah.
We know what we're talking about.
Here's my biggest advice: is heroin. Doesn't matter how well you filter it, it's gonna fuck you up. So I would just abstain myself.
Wow, abstinence.
Abstinence is.
Abstinence doesn't work.
It does work with heroin. It works real well. There's no safe
How
heroin.
hard is it to not do heroin? You never
Sometimes
know.
it's real tempting.
You
Here's the
never
thing.
Sometimes you're just like, ooh.
Last
It's even more
night-
tempting if you do it once.
Last night, I went to Whole Foods.
and you found heroin.
I
in
wanted a
aisle 4.
cookie really bad. And I
And
was
then you
like,
got
you know
heroin
what?
instead.
I looked at my stomach. I'm like, no, you don't need it. But think of how much harder it is for a heroin addict
Yeah.
to go to Whole Foods and see that same cookie. You know what I mean? Like that, or no. For a heroin addict.
For a heroin addict to go to Kmart.
No, wait, to
and
heroin
see
addicts-
heroin on the shelves.
Yes.
All of them.
Right. But like, okay. But no, but my point is temptation
Yeah.
Okay, but
exists outside of
Temptation is a
hard
crazy
drugs.
feeling.
Okay, but you did not hear.
But in
you-
different
I
quantities.
never finished my manifesto, so that's why you never
It's
got
a manifesto.
manifesto. It's just my
Manifesto.
manifest.
Wow.
I'm just
Where's
saying
the
it weird. Leave me
womenfesto?
alone. You never heard all of it.
Manifesto.
Part of the thing that
Womanifesto.
yeah, this is for men only. Sorry, women
La
need
la
not
la la
apply.
la 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 la.
One of the things that would come with this like government body would be universal health care. However, it's not just everyone gets it, and so even if you let your health go and you become a drug addict, the government will pay for it. You'd be like, you need to meet certain health standards. So like every quarter or like twice a year, you get tested. So like if like they can find out if you're addicted to a certain drug. So like if they find out, hey, you have a crap ton of drugs in your system, you will lose your health care. So you need to
That's
go
fair.
so you need to go on a program to like manage that, otherwise you will lose it. It's not an instant system either where it's like, oh, we found this in your system once, you're done. Because also the thing with certain drugs is they don't last in your system for so long. So even if drugs were legal and you were doing it, you will know you have a doctor's appointment coming up. So it's like, do you have the self-control to not partake in drugs long enough to be able to go to the doctor and get a green card? If you could, chances are you're probably not addicted to anything.
I think you would see a huge uptick in pet adoption because everybody would use their dog's piss
urine.
to pass the test.
Well, no, you could make sure you can go to the doctor's office, and before you go to the bathroom, they'll probably pat you down, make sure you don't have anything on you.
So you couldn't.
I'm
Then
trying to
then here's what
understand.
they would smuggle hamsters.
How much urine are you getting out of a hamster?
If you
How much
squeeze
you
real
squeeze
hard,
before- Yeah.
you
They're
get
like,
a
man,
decent
I
amount.
think you're
You can't get like a little robo hamster.
addicted to hamster intestines? Why do we have so many hamster intestines in your urine, sir?
Wait, what if urine doesn't even go through hamsters' intestines?
If you squeeze hard enough. Scary.
What if
It's like, hey, in your urine, we found some
Yeah.
like hamster DNA. What's up with
Yeah.
that?
What's up with that?
So you think they would detect a hamster on you if you got a hamster? They don't need that much for a sample. You could just say I was really dehydrated this morning.
Oh, here's a glass of water. Boom.
Yeah.
We need.
I'm not advocating squeezing hamsters for their urine to pass drug tests.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, so I feel like
I'm just saying
we
it's
should
possible.
We should legalize all drugs. Because the overall philosophy
That might be the
behind this-
stupidest thing we've ever said on this fucking podcast.
No, it's not. I genuinely believe this because I genuinely believe that it's not the government's job to like parent us. And I feel like a lot of the
No.
problems that we've had with discrimination and racism in this country has been because the government trying to control every aspect of life. Segregation was because the government that only went for as long as it did because they were legal.
Weren't they
things.
also involved in integration though? That's a good thing. Integration
but
is
that
why we
only-
have this podcast. We have
So-
such a diverse panel of opinions.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, but so
Thank you, government.
But part of the reason why segregation happened and it stayed for so long was because there were government things in place enforcing it.
Yeah.
Why did the government need to tell people who they could and could not hang out
Oh,
with?
they were going to be racist anyway. Why did
Right.
the government have to step in? Yeah.
What? But integration only happened because people moved in places together. Like after the black people migrated from the South.
No,
and
but
they
wasn't
moved
that also
to-
government involvement?
No. So
Of
with
like
people,
the rearranging of districts and schools?
so with people,
That wasn't just
I
their own
feel-
decision.
I feel like a lot of it would have happened on its own naturally because so part of let me fucking make a point, Vontae.
Just go for it. Just go for it. I'm not allowed to disagree.
So the thing that happened was a lot of black people from the South moved to big cities like New York and Chicago, and because of proximity, they had to interact, and that's how you saw people starting to be like, oh well, maybe I guess integration isn't so bad because they saw firsthand that like, I don't know, having black people near your neighborhood. It's not the end of the world. And then a lot of the fear mongering that happened, people just started to be like, hey, wait, this is not so bad actually. It's the same thing with gay marriage. Gay marriage did not become popular because the government legalized it. The government legalized it because everyone realized, oh wait, this is actually not a thing we should worry about.
Yeah.
So imagine if you never had to go through the roadblock of getting the government to change its mind to begin with. How much faster that would be.
It becomes that thing of like social versus political, of
Yeah.
like which comes first, and it's usually always like
Social.
the social thing, you know?
Society
Yeah.
changes and then the government. But even now with abortion, by and large, like I think it was over 70% of people think some form of abortion should be legal, even if it's regulated, right? But then you have a small minority of the government that wants to take us back to the 1950s and be like, no, let's get rid of it. So he's
Yeah.
like, why is the government deciding this one thing that the vast majority of people are okay with?
Well, it's crazy. Like, I think what kills me is with the entire mentality of why are we trying to get rid of procreation? That's the often the underpinning of the argument against abortion. Could you maybe make our country a little more affordable? Potentially, you know, like maybe part of the reason that there is such a lowered birth rate might be because it's fucking impossible to raise a family now.
Yeah,
It's like you can't buy a house. You can't, I mean, the medical bills of having a kid could be 30 grand, you know, for just having a baby at a hospital. Like the cost of college, the cost of living, everything is so insane. It's like,
I don't know how the Mormons
taking
do it.
away, I know, taking away abortion isn't going to change the fact that no one can afford it.
But also, here's the thing
You
with
know?
making things illegal, and which goes back to my whole
Right.
making all drugs legal thing. It doesn't actually get rid of abortions. It just gets rid of safe abortions. That's all it does.
Right.
Because women were getting them
Yeah.
back in the day, and they were dying,
Yeah.
going through very dangerous methods trying to do this. The government just said, let's make it legal so that way we can regulate it, so that way it's safer.
Right.
It's the same thing with drugs.
Yeah.
People are dying, like people are getting fentanyl laced in their stuff. It's very sketchy. If the government just legalizes it, they can regulate it better, and that would actually do more good.
I remember having a
I think
conversation.
the Netherlands does that.
I remember having a
I
conversation.
think Sweden
with a guy.
and some other Nordic country actually has legalized
Yeah.
all their drugs, and like it's helped one get rid of the black market there because you can just legally purchase it, so you don't need to go through sketchy people to do so. You don't need to go through people who are like offing each other, you know, through gangs and stuff. That's like how gangs get a lot of their money is through the illegal sales of drugs.
Yeah.
You can tax it. Like a lot of people, when you say, "Oh, let's legalize all drugs," they're like, "But what?
Exactly.
What?" Like,
I mean, that's the real incentive is that they can tax it. That should
Right.
be enough for them to want to legalize
Yeah.
it, really.
but they don't because Judeo-Christians are
Living-
like, purity and goodness. It's like,
Yeah.
but that's not actual reality.
Right. No, it's very funny understanding how fundamentalists live and perceive the world. It's very sheltered and adolescent in a way. Like they feel almost stunted in their emotional maturity.
Everything feels so black and white.
right.
Which is why they want the government to be mommy and daddy.
So crazy.
To be like,
yeah.
no, but the rules are fair, and
I
you
know-
said this is it.
I know that you feel safe in your world. I'm happy that you feel safe, and I understand
I
that
don't think they do.
you don't think.
How would you feel safe if everything around you constantly feels like a threat?
Right. I mean, in the world that they would desire.
Their ideal world.
Yeah. I mean, they also have a pretty fucking safe world. But yeah, no, I think whenever growing up, I feel like anytime we went to church, it felt very much like there was a lot of kind of a general feeling of we are in a safe place and the bad things are coming after us. Like they're coming for us in this way or this way. We're okay right now, but we need to keep our guard up. Like you're in a little protected village or something. And it's like, you haven't even stepped outside of the village to see if any of your beliefs are true.
Yeah.
You know? And more...
The fear.
Fear-mongering.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think whenever... Because we both... I grew up in Virginia. You were born in Virginia, but you grew up in Sierra Leone. So I was in a pretty predominantly white southern town most of my life. And it was really interesting to see, moving to New York to go to school, how much your views change and your perspective changes whenever you
Based
meet
on the people around you. Yeah.
Because for, I think, most Americans, they don't grow up in very diverse places. You know what I mean? They grow up in
most
probably...
Americans do, though. That's the thing. Most cities are very diverse.
I know, but is the majority of the population of America in cities?
Yeah.
Okay, well, there's still then a plurality of Americans that...
The conservative majority is definitely in smaller towns.
Right.
That's
like
why you see the big city.
Their exposure to people of other cultures and, you know, ways of life is through media, you know? And so, like... if you just get to know some of these people, but it's also the question is how do they, if they live in a place that doesn't have any?
Yeah.
You know?
But then they are doing
then
everything in their power to make sure they don't get any.
I know it's a vicious cycle because you don't, not having diversity kind of feeds fears of xenophobia that are driven by xenophobia. And then that just leads you to make it harder, which leads to, you know what I mean? And also there's also like probably not that much incentive for people that don't feel safe to move to those little towns.
Why
it's
do
like,
a hard thing when you could just live in the place you've been your entire life and
like
die there?
most immigrants, whenever they come to big cities, they go to the neighborhood that their friend or their cousin or their family member lives in already, or somebody that they've already recommended, so that it feels like they're among people who are like them, you know? And that's why they have Chinatown and, you know, all the different kind of racial or national divided kind of neighborhoods, you know?
But I also feel like that's completely different than like people living in a small town, in the sense of like, if you're moving to a new country where the dominant language is not your native language, it's like, I feel like that transition is a lot
you still
easier.
Feel like an outsider.
I know, but a lot of the people
like
that are in the small towns years ago, their ancestors did that.
But
if they were German or Italian or Swedish,
the struggles don't get passed on over the generations.
Yeah,
no, I know.
Because then it's like, oh, like
because they're very well represented in all aspects of the culture.
Yeah, but I think like I think it really is that it's like, you know, liberals are okay with a little chaos and conservatives are not. And not chaos in actual like violence
or just
chaos,
openness.
But just like, it's like the world is not perfect. It's or doesn't fit these perfect aesthetic lines that you've built up in your head.
Right.
It's not. It's just, it's more nuanced. It's more complicated than that. But that's okay.
Yeah.
And I mean, you have to be okay with that to be a functioning human being.
I feel like a lot of politics and we're getting real deep now. We're in the depths of it. A lot of politics and religion are responses to people realizing that most things in the world are out of their control.
Yeah.
Right? And that kind of shapes your view.
And they want it to be in their control sometimes.
Yes. So sometimes you can become okay with the fact that things are not in your control, but you know, there's other people where you're just like, no, I'll get there. I'll get there if I like believe hard enough and if I make everything in my control.
I will force it.
They believe it was once in their control, or maybe it genuinely was once in their control and they want to revert back to that point. But it's just
they feel like they have more agency than maybe they do.
But also, I think it's like, it's part of, I think, with conservatives, why they fight so hard to pass the laws they want to pass is they feel if they could just make things the way they want, everyone will realize that they were right. It's like, oh, if we just like make being gay legal, if we could just get rid of abortion, if we could just have the races only date and marry each other, everyone will eventually realize. No, but like they'll be like, everyone will eventually realize that we were right all along and that our way of life is the way of life.
Yeah.
Like,
which
this
is
how you're
crazy.
supposed to, which is like,
but you also,
it's narcissistic and arrogant as fuck.
I think it's apathetic. They don't care if you like it or not. They don't hope that you will convert.
They do. Yeah. They want you to genuinely believe that, to align your thoughts with theirs, because they genuinely believe they are correct. They got it right. And everybody else just needs to fall in line and they'll be a lot happier for it.
Here's
think
what,
the problem
maybe
with-
though, maybe we should just try it.
See what
Maybe.
You know, I grew up very conservative. Did not like it. That's why.
How did you ever meet a nice Christian girl?
I was surrounded by them.
Because they're real nice. Go down to the Bible study.
I was actually in Bible
Becky's
study.
down there. She's looking for a lovely boyfriend. And, you know, you go talk to Becky.
Yeah. Listen.
Maybe they're
I was
onto
in Bible
something.
study. It was actually really fun because it was a Bible study at a performing arts high school.
Wow.
Isn't that an oxymoron?
It really was. No, like I think we did
They
it
read it
because
like Shakespeare.
our teacher,
Mm-hmm.
one of like our lead acting teachers, was like really Christian,
Mm-hmm.
and so we wanted to get on our good side to get roles
Yeah.
in the school plays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and I think
It's the evangelism that like
To
always
clarify-
works politically too.
I don't have anything against religious people, to be clear. I think
No, I think religion is
No,
a beautiful
yeah.
thing.
I see it as a very fair response to things being outside of your control.
Oh, absolutely. I
in
mean,
the same,
yeah.
not in the same way, but like, you know how like after a breakup, people just like go to the gym a lot
Yeah.
and they like make it their religion. Like,
Yeah.
you have to find meaning in things
Keto
to
is
like
my
want to
God.
keep going. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It gives you purpose, and that's fair, and it gives you community, and it can be very positive. But what you can't do is
Make it other
dictate-
people's business.
right.
Yeah.
You can't which a lot of conservatives would say that's what
it's because
the
it's a-
left does.
It's
Is
a
they're
core
like
component.
they're
of-
like, well, LGBT. They seem to make gayness their religion, and they're forcing it on everybody.
It's
and
a forced
well,
equivalency because the
it's
gays
not
are
the
not trying
same.
to pass laws that
Yeah.
prohibit you from practicing your
You
religion.
guys
Right.
don't get that thing when
The-
you talk where they're like, "Oh, why do you have to make everything about like being gay?"
oh
Or
yeah.
whatever. Do you guys get that? 'Cause
I
get
don't
that
know.
I get that with race sometimes, and I'm like, well,
It is a
I feel
large.
like white
It's a
people
part of it. Yeah.
make things about being white. They just don't say those words. But I'm
Yeah,
like, I
but-
see you. I'm like, you were talking about your white culture right now.
Right.
Continue.
But it's because like,
Mm-hmm.
and I think the reason why even some black people say this, like, oh,
Like The
you always make
Bachelor?
everything about race. I think the thing is that like, white, especially since we're in America, which is like majority white is treated as the default.
Mm-hmm.
So we never need to talk about whiteness because like white is just the way it is. Everything else is other.
I think
Yeah.
more people in the majority should learn what the effects of being part of a majority are.
It's the same thing as straightness, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where like a lot of straight guys and a lot of straight women will be talking about their wives, their husbands, their boyfriend and girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
But then the minute a gay person be like, oh yeah, my husband, then it feels like, oh, why do you always talk about like your gay shit?
Right.
But it's like you do the same thing,
Yeah.
only because
Yeah.
you treat it as the default in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You don't see it as you're always talking about
Yeah.
it.
yeah. No, it's
And it's
absolutely.
interesting. It's interesting to learn about like the ways that like the ways that like you are advantaged affect you,
Mm-hmm.
because it's just like shit that affects you all the time, constantly, that you never think about. That's
Yeah.
interesting. That's cool. And I wish people were like less defensive about learning things.
Yeah. You
like
can't
that.
help.
Like when I learn about my able-bodiedness, I'm like, holy shit!
Yeah, that's
I
for
want
sure.
to make things more accessible.
I
You know?
I've
I'm not
never.
like, well, you're always fucking talking about your wheelchair. Okay, it has nothing to do with me. Like that's not.
Right, that's such an insane position to be in.
Yeah.
For sure. It's like this is the world that you live in, so you're going to talk about it in that context.
Yeah.
And if it's other than the experience of the listener,
Yeah.
then they
It
will
gets
think
taken
it feels
as
tokenistic
like
or-
evangelism
Right.
when it's not meant as that.
yeah,
It's
for
like,
sure.
oh, you're talking about your husband.
I
It
wanna
must
be-
mean that everyone should have a husband.
Yeah, you
It's like a defense mechanism.
I want to clarify this is not a gay podcast. This is a podcast for everybody, mainly white people. No, I'm kidding.
No. We want the white dollars.
I mean, yeah, that's the biggest demographic in this country.
Yeah, like don't
Can I just
get rid
say
of our audience boxes.
this is specifically for Filipinos?
This is if you're not Filipino, keep scrolling.
All of my Filipino listeners, this show is for you. Thank you everybody for listening to this episode of Speculation About Nonsense. Now we are on YouTube, we're on Spotify, we're on Apple Podcasts, we're on TikTok and Instagram and all the other places you can listen to podcasts. What?
Those are the only places I go.
Oh my God! Well, we're on all of them. And
No.
and we're trying to do this frequently enough to have one every Friday. So stay tuned and keep supporting. Make sure you like and subscribe and follow us
you
and
want.
Would you? It was
Just
a
do it
pleasure
even if
having
you don't
Thank
want
you.
to. Make a fake YouTube account
Just
to
do
just
it.
add
Just
us.
twice.
Sure, yeah. You can get a bot to do it. I don't
I'm
know.
with you.
Ask ChatGPT
Yeah.
to just
Yeah.
subscribe.
No, I love this podcast so much. I'm personally going to go home and subscribe.
You should listen to
I
this
didn't yet,
podcast
but-
right after. Yeah. Thank you very much.
But it was so nice to have you.
It was so nice to be
You should
here.
come back
Thank
It was
more
you.
often.
lovely.
Love
It was
being in
lovely.
this living room.
It was
Yeah.
great.
You've been here so many times.
Yes.
Okay, bye.